Hey everyone, so I haven't done one of these videos on the ride home from work late deep into the night for some time. But I've been following all of this Epstein stuff, and since I did the show, the Shitbag Roundup on Monday, I haven't done any more posts about it. I've been following along with the fallout of everything, specifically with the infighting with MAGA. So you've got, Megyn Kelly that's still kind of a dog with a bone. She's going after it. Benny Johnson is still kind of a dog with a bone. He's going after it. And some of these other, which I kind of think of as like fake conservatives in my opinion, Charlie Kirk, for example, have allegedly, supposedly gotten a call from the president and said, drop this issue. It's hurting the administration. We don't want you to talk about it anymore. And then they say, yes, sir, no problem, sir. And Charlie Kirk goes on and says, and at some point when I do another video, I'll play that for you so you can see it. And he says, yes, sir, no problem. And I've said what I want to say. I'm not going to say anything anymore about it. And I'm going to let you guys figure it all out. Which, of course, we don't seem to be able to trust them to figure it all out because they're not going to. And, there's a larger argument that's happening between Cat Turd, that fucking moron. Shame on us for following an asshole named Cat Turd. But on X for saying, there's more important things than Epstein going on. There are others that are saying this too. There's more important things than Epstein going on. Why the fuck are we making a big deal out of this and dragging the administration down? Let's focus on other shit and just move away from this. And they're not necessarily wrong, but it's also not for the reasons that they think that they're being right about. So, what it is, I don't know if a little extra light's going to help or not. What it is about this issue is larger. It's not just about Epstein, this pedophile scumbag that could be attached to, or at least participating with Mossad, with the FBI, with potentially the CIA, and he had all these connections, whether he was directly working as a willing agent or he was an occasional useful asset that was used and it offered him protection, right? You saw how cocky he was when he was in jail. You saw how he got these sweetheart deals when he was in jail. And you remember if anyone remembers that movie The Lord of War with Nicolas Cage, where at the end of the movie he's sitting there and he's the cop, the FBI guy, whatever, finally got him. And he's saying, in about 5 minutes, your boss is going to come in here and he's going to say that you can't hold me and that you need to let me go because they've gotten a call from somewhere higher up that you can't hold me anymore. And then that's how the movie ends. The guy, he gets told you need to release him and he goes back out to his life. And the same thing would end up happening with Jeffrey Epstein. It was like that he wasn't just a criminal and a scumbag and dealing in underage girls and boys and everything else, but he had the connections enough to make these things happen. So now we look at this larger scale of, was the CIA involved? Was the FBI involved? Well, there's a government intelligence, U.S. government intelligence, right? That's a problem and something that can really embarrass us. And another reason why they might not want to talk about it, the Israeli government being implicated, and they might not want to talk about it. But that's not even really the biggest thing about it. The biggest thing, and I think this is something that people are missing when the infighting is happening about all of this. Why are we turning Epstein into such a big deal? He didn't even run on saying, hey, I'm going to release the Epstein files. He just said it during an interview that it was something I was going to do. So the primary reason that we voted him in was, close the border, stop this crime, stop Americans getting hurt, stop the radical left from destroying the country, right? These are primary focus points that we voted for him and voted him into office. But one of the other things that's being missed here is we voted him in because he was an outsider. We voted him in because the plan was to go into Washington and turn the whole establishment upside down on its head, right? We already know we couldn't trust the Democrats. We already knew that any of the previous administrations weren't going to let this shit out. Joe Biden, while he was in office, wasn't going to let this shit out. As a matter of fact, he may have been a pedophile himself. You remember James O'Keefe from, OMG now and previously Project Veritas. had Ashley Biden's diary, his daughter, and she wrote in the diary, "My dad would get into the shower with me while she was a young teenage girl." So we're talking like it was between 13 and 15, I think it was alleged. And we saw the way Biden interacted with kids when he ran into them, sniffing their hair and touching them. His weird stories about how the boys at the pool would play with his leg hair and all that stuff. I mean, pedophilic type talk. So did anyone think that the corrupt Biden regime or any Democrats who have no problem transing your kids, no problem hacking up their body parts, no problem turning little boys into little girls and little girls into little boys, and allowing the abuse of children to happen, did we think that they were going to step up, put their cape on, and save the day for any of this? Hell, I expect to find most of them on the damn list too. So the Democrats aren't anyone that you can rely on to release all of this information and give you the truth. If they really wanted to, they would have released it the 4 years Biden was in office when it was starting to become a larger talking point and a larger issue. Hell, if they could trip up Trump with it and really hurt him, they absolutely would have dropped that shit with Trump's name all over it. And they didn't do it. But the one thing that we thought with voting Trump into office is, we got some of the JFK files. Wasn't a lot of smoking gun information in there, but it seemed to point to the fact that what we already knew, the CIA did it. Martin Luther King Jr., same deal, point to the CIA did it because he was uniting the black community and making headway with fighting back against the establishment and the government. So, and we saw that too with those files. And if you read the book Chaos, you got that information as well. So, and Candace Owens did a piece on that as well. But no, I didn't vote Trump in specifically. It wasn't a one situation thing that I voted for him. It was to clear out the swamp, just like he said he was going to do, and turn Washington upside down on its head and not play by the same rules as the rest of them. And the same with getting Kash Patel in there, because that was what we were told was going to happen. Dan Bongino, that was supposed to be a straight shooter. He was going to give you the real deal, and he was going to let you know what's going on. He turns out to be a fucking lying piece of shit, too. He hasn't resigned yet. I thought he was going to resign in protest. Now he's still there anyway, and we're not getting any of the information. And then Pam Bondi, who I didn't know a lot about, but was supposedly going to be this great force as well, and it was gonna let you know everything that you needed to know. And we didn't get it. Now, maybe it's naivete on our part in thinking that we were going to get an outsider like Trump who was fighting back, who was getting fucked over by the establishment. So when he got in, he was going to start fucking the establishment. Now the problem is him and his crew seem to be holding this down and suppressing it like every other government official and every other person and part of the government that has done it previous to them. And that's the largest problem here. That Trump was supposed to be the factor of turning this upside down and sideways. And instead, in this particular instance, it just seems to be business as usual. Hide the truth from the American people. Even more so. I mean, he's getting pissed that we're talking about it and we won't let it go. And he's coming out and eventually, essentially saying, fuck you guys. I don't want you as supporters anymore if you can't let this go. Like, what the fuck? We talk about freedom of speech. We talk about going after the government and holding these scumbags to account until we're questioning you? Then we're not fucking allowed to? But get the fuck out of here. If you're real, you're not going, yes sir, no problem sir, yes sir. You're saying, fuck you. Can't keep talking. What the fuck? What are you talking about? We're going to keep talking about this. Do I like what the things that Trump is doing? Sure. I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. But I'm saying he's fucked this part up. And for whatever reason they're hiding the whole thing instead of letting it out like the JFK files and the MLK file. They have no problem with that. But we're going to play a fucking game with this. That's the biggest problem is we thought that we could count on him for this. And it doesn't seem to be